Hi, welcome to another episode of Mom Does It All. If you're looking for encouragement, empowerment, and uplifting in motherhood and mompreneurship, this is a show for you. I'm your host, Marcia Spurk, triplet mom, certified success coach, and all things motivation extraordinaire. In this episode, I talk about how important it is for you to know yourself and your story so that you can cherish your present, help others by sharing your story and who you are as you know who you are, and trust your story and your inner voice to create the future of your dreams. Let's get right to it. Oh my gosh, you guys, all throughout the last week, the last few days, especially over the weekend, I've been having all of these thoughts and taking so many notes with the books that I'm reading, with the interviews that I've been doing for the podcast, just different conversations with different friends. So many things that I have been doing lately are making me think, ooh, I need to talk about this on the podcast. And so I just want to preface this entire episode by saying I hope I do a good job connecting all of these things together, because I start having all these thoughts and making great points in my head, and then I want to make sure I do a good job connecting them together and making sure you have an awesome takeaway for this episode. So first and foremost, I just want to start off with this week's interview on the show with Melissa Radke. Oh my goodness. If you haven't listened to it, please do yourself a favor and go and listen to it, because it's so inspirational, yet it's so funny. She's just an amazing human being. I am so glad that I was able to connect with her and interview her. And a lot of what she said was about you having a story that is important to be told, that your life is a source of healing to somebody else. And this is exactly what I feel when I connect with all these other women, being able to share their lives and their works on the podcast, and me being able to share my life and my work as well. And it goes hand in hand with what I grew up learning in church about us having callings and having talents and being able to contribute to each other's lives if we're just willing to get to know ourselves and be real and be open and be honest. And I am very hopeful that so far I have been able to do that to the best of my ability, so that you are inspired by me as a person, and then in turn inspire the people around you with what you have to offer. And that was the title of the episode, because it was one of the things that she said. I don't know if she said, I don't know if I made this up, if I read it somewhere, but it's something that she passes on to her kids, which is, you are valuable and everybody else is too. And the meaning behind this is so precious, because it's everything that I've been talking about. You can't really appreciate anyone or anything in life until you appreciate yourself. It all always goes back to you. And this has everything to do with what I've been studying about the brain and the new books that I started reading, and I'll get to that in a second. But another thing too is that I've been doing a lot of writing, and that has been helping me a lot. I am so glad I went back to it, because for the longest time I kind of said no to writing, because that's what I was used to with my work as a teacher. And I was like, no, I would rather talk. But the thing is that some people receive knowledge better by writing. And I feel like because it's a different way of releasing all the knowledge that is in my brain, it comes out different. And so I have been submitting articles to magazines and blogs, and that has been really like prompting me to talk about different things when I am confined to a specific topic. Write on this, and I write on it and I submit it, and it just makes me a lot more focused. So it's been helping me a lot, and I'm glad I decided to start doing this. And one of the topics I wrote on the other day was, why do some people hate everything and everyone, and how to fix it? And my answer has everything to do with what I just said. It really is all about looking inside yourself. It all really starts within, because you are the only thing you can control. And so if somebody hates everything, it's because they really hate themselves, right? They haven't learned to know themselves or accept themselves. And so the whole world looks like crap. And so, and it goes back to, the whole idea of the happy mommy, defining and creating your happiness. If everything around you sucks, guess what? Inside of you is sucking right now. And you're not paying attention to that. You're too busy looking outside of you for answers and for solutions, when all of it is already inside of you. And so Another thing that I wanted to bring up that has everything to do with all of this is still my episodes with Flavia Kalina. They have just created this whirlwind in my life with this influx of Brazilians coming and following me and engaging with me. And what has been surprising is that they don't know me as well, but they're loving my message. They just came across me and they just love everything that I say, and they're giving me all this feedback and engaging on my content, even more so than the English speaking audience, which has been dumbfounding to me. I was not expecting that at all. And I don't want to lose this momentum. I want to engage back with them and see what it is that they're finding so special about my message so that I can grasp this and be able to turn this around into the English speaking audience that has been my focus for the last 3 years. And what's interesting is that they've been asking me lots of questions because they don't know me as well as I feel like the English speaking audience does. But the thing is that I don't feel like I have been doing that great of a job telling my story. And especially with Melissa saying you have a story, this has prompted me to, and I already talked about this on social media earlier this week, about telling more details about my story, from getting married, from, trying to get pregnant, from getting triplets, from having the babies, from raising them as kids now, 3 years old, almost 3.5 now. And understanding that it's really important for me to share these details because human beings learn and resonate with stories. It's how we find solace and encouragement. And it's not just about me coming on here and preaching about a certain topic. It's by me being able to illustrate that with my own life experiences and having you be like, oh, that's what happened to me too, or that's how I feel, or whatever. Just bringing some practical applications so that it makes more sense. And it's not just so intangible and something that is not real and that you can relate to. And that's what teachers do, right? We learn through stories. We teach through stories, through parables, through analogies. And this is what I had been doing my entire life as a teacher. And I feel like I lost it. And I am just revisiting and reclaiming all of these different areas of my life and putting them together into this amazing work that I have been loving more than ever, into encouragement, into, really getting to know yourself, because that's what I am doing. I'm really getting to know myself, and I want to help other women do the same. And running this very first round of the Happy Mommy program is really showing me this, that I'm helping these women own their story and live their story and create their story from now on in the future. And what's interesting is that once I switched from network marketing and went into this coaching path, I was doing one-on-one because I thought that that's what I wanted to do. Because as a tutor, I really thrived in one-on-one experiences with students teaching languages, okay? But I realized I didn't really like it. It was just, it was very emotionally draining and not as pleasurable to me. What's crazy is that I was making more money with one-on-one than I am with a smaller priced course. But it was not about the money. And sometimes I feel crazy thinking that I gave up something that was making me more money just because it didn't bring me pleasure. But it really says a lot. It says a lot about, the work that I am doing and the integrity that I have been building in my business, that I really want to help people. I don't just want to do something that's bringing me more money. And because ultimately, if I'm not enjoying it, chances are the people that are taking the course and working with me are not going to benefit as much as somebody that pays less but actually enjoys, because I'm enjoying what I'm doing, if that makes any sense. So with the Happy Mommy, I decided I was going to do a group coaching. And I have been loving the feedback and how these women are helping each other break through, having breakthroughs and break through certain patterns in their lives, and the calls that we have, and them telling their stories and the aha moments that they have. And then the other one saying, oh my gosh, what you just said right there, that's how I felt too. And it didn't even come from me. It came from them, but I am facilitating this process. And I have plans for continuing on for a different group, opening this up for June in a different way. And I am so excited about that. I actually just had a meeting with a business strategy, and she gave me some fun ideas that I want to implement. So stay tuned. I will keep sharing what's going on inside this current wave of the Happy Mommy so you know what's going on and start deciding if this is something that you want to be a part of. And you can always reach out to me and ask questions and let me know if you have any concerns or any feedback. But another thing that I want to talk about that I also posted recently on social media is how, again, I said the universe did it again. I talked so much last week about the importance of you understanding that your happiness is in the now, that everything you need is here and now. And then this friend messages me and tells me, "Oh my gosh, everything that you've been talking about has a lot to do with this one book, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle." And I was like, hold on a second. I have the book. I've had the book for over a year that I was gifted. So I got it for free at a Beachbody coaching event here locally in Denver, and I have never read it. It's literally been on my shelf, and I have never even opened it. And I'd seen it around. I'd seen other people recommending it. I had even had a coaching call with a mom last year that said she loves this kind of introspective work, and one of the things that opened this world up for her was reading this book, The Power of Now, and still nothing. I didn't open it up, didn't read it. And so I took that as a personal message to me from the universe of how I need to start reading this book. And I did. And the combination of the spiritual work that he presents in this book with all the brain and neuroscience that I have been studying and learning was just mind blown to me. And this is what I wanted to talk about in this episode, which goes hand in hand with everything else. You know, the Brazilians wanting me to share more about my story, me realizing that I need to talk more about my story to illustrate all the concepts that I have been teaching. And then Melissa coming on and saying, "Hey, you have a story." Message received, okay? So let me compare these two different things about, comparing the spiritual, this awareness of yourself with understanding more about the science behind our brain and our emotions and our feelings. So starting off with physiology here. Your feelings, they are a product of your experiences and a product of your thoughts. So whenever you recreate an experience in your head because of a memory that you had, you start recreating those same feelings that you had in that instance. And we do this all day long. You're recreating these experiences to the point where they become super familiar, where you're training your brain to feel those, to create the feelings in your body. And that practice becomes a habit. It because you're doing it so much, it becomes permanent. Whether it is something pleasant or something bad, you're constantly recreating these experiences within yourself. And I love so much how, because he's so science-based, this has everything to do with our physical body when you talk about other organs or the things that you can see, the things that are visible. And I've been loving comparing this so much with fitness and nutrition because this is my background in coaching, like not background, but what started me in coaching with fitness, because it's very math-based, if you will. If you eat a certain way and if you move your body a certain way, that's going to affect the way you look physically. It's not something hard to perceive because you can see it with your eyes, but it's not as easy to understand or accept feelings and thoughts because you don't see them, but they're going on in your head right now. And I love this so much because what started all of this for me was languages. How do we create a language and grammar structure? How does that happen in our brain? And then we have whole civilizations speaking similarly, but then you have a different country that has structures, they have grammar, they have words, they have all of this, but it's different. But it's the same in the brain. You know what I mean? That's crazy. And we don't pay attention to that because you understand that your heart's beating and pumping blood all around you, but what's going on in your head as you're listening to me talk and you're understanding what I'm saying? It's really, really crazy and mind-blowing. And so the reason why I like to compare to nutrition and exercise, because it's very visible, but the same thing is happening to your brain. So if you are constantly thinking certain thoughts and feeling certain things, that's actually affecting your body. It's actually affecting your physiology because it's all a part of who you are. It's all organs. Your brain is an organ, and it's creating these chemicals and these impulses and shooting that all through your body to the point where your body starts getting used to negativity. Your body starts getting used to fear, to rejection. Or your body can be used to joy and happiness and fun and peace. These are all things that you're constantly creating. You're responsible for all of these things happening inside of you. But until you realize this, you won't be able to change that. So that's where this awareness comes from. And I just wanted to list, this is one of the things that I talked about at on the Happy Mommy Masterclass. So if you haven't watched it, you have to. I get into more detail, but I list some of the benefits of happiness, of you creating these feelings intentionally. There are physical manifestations of these things. It's not just in some crazy plane of, I don't know what's going on. It's very mystical. No, it's for real. It's for real that when you recreate happiness within you, because you have that power, you lose this brain fog. You create clarity for you. We hear so much about CBD lately, of eliminating brain fog, or meditation, or yoga, things that you can do with your body to create these sensations. Well, where does this come from? It all comes from your brain. So you can create these things that will actually affect your physical health. Because there have been studies even that show that some diseases are created through your emotion. There are studies that show that some types of cancer develop because of emotional trauma. So everything is super interconnected. So when you understand that you can create these feelings of happiness and your own happiness, and that can change your entire life, oh my gosh, it's insane. It's like, what will my future be like if I know that I don't have to ever be miserable again? That I can control my reaction to the events that happen outside of me. And not only that, but you can improve your relationship with other people, because it all starts with you. Once you understand yourself, you get a better grasp of why people react a certain way or act a certain way. And so your relationships can improve because you're so in tune with yourself. Isn't that amazing? And so this is all about the neuroscience part of things. And then connecting back to the power of now and Eckhart Tolle's book, he talks a lot about creating that stillness and understanding that everything you need is already inside of you now, and kind of becoming an expectator of your own thoughts and understanding that that's the real you. Because sometimes the thoughts that you have, most times, they're not even you, that you're just carrying these things with you because of all the influences you've had in your entire life. And this is exactly what we do in the Happy Mommies, understanding the things you've been carrying with you that are not you, so that you can make an educated decision of what you want to carry on with you or just dismiss, eliminate, because it doesn't serve you. And honestly, even though I took forever to start reading this book, I don't know if I was ready to read this book, if I would have been as open to receive the knowledge that is in there and the value that is in there. Because, and I've shared this before, I grew up Christian, so lots of things were off limits for me. Lots of things were just, not allowed and shameful, that I could never be involved with or even associate myself with. And as I became a mom, as I got married, as I stepped into my own person outside of, my family and Brazil and everything, I have been able to kind of pick what I want, which is essentially what I'm teaching women to do right now, is just pick the things that I want to explore and decide for myself instead of having somebody else tell me exactly what it's supposed to be like. And so even reading a book that talks about spirituality in a different way that I'm not used to, used to be very scary and intimidating and kind of awkward. It just made me uneasy. And one of the things that he says in the book is that you will see me mention Christianity and Buddhism and other, religions and things like that. But the reason why I do that is not because I'm preaching any of these specifically. I'm just helping you understand that the origins of all of these are very similar. The general ideas are very similar. And what is a general idea? That everything that you need is already inside of you. And I remember when I first started tapping into this last year and going into meditation, which I already kind of dabbled into this a little bit even before I had the kids, that I started taking yoga classes in Brazil, which yoga was also something that was off limits because, Eastern cultures and things like that are very, very different. But one of the things that I heard in a guided meditation once was they were inviting you to look inside of you and to open yourself up to hear from your inner guide, from the Holy Spirit, or whatever you want to call it. I remember the guide, the woman that was using these words, and it really resonated with me because that's a very real concept in Christianity, is you tuning in inside of you and hearing from the Holy Spirit. That's something that I understand. And now I have these other sources and other people talking about the inner guide, which Gabby Bernstein uses a lot in her book, May Cause Miracles, and also The Universe Has Your Back, which, by the way, I started reading and I got a little bit uncomfortable and I stopped. Isn't that crazy? So it's just being open to different things. And so when he said that in the book, I was like, this is for real. This is so genuine, because it is true. It is very similar across different religions and across different beliefs, that you have that one thing inside of you that you can always go to and count on to tell you what to do. If you are just still enough to be able to listen to that instead of listening to the noise of the world and of your own thoughts. So I will expand on this more because I want to learn more from it before I talk about it. But I just wanted to the main takeaway here is for you to understand that this is very much real. It's going on right now because your brain is so powerful. And it also has that subconscious mind, that other side that we don't really know, that it seems so mystical. These are all things that you can tap into even if you don't 100% understand or know. But it's all a matter of being open to that. And this is what I have been doing, and I have been enjoying it so much. And that's why I can confidently tell you that you can define and create your happiness. That in this moment right now, if you just understand that there's nothing else, that this is it, you will find that joy. And this is real joy. It's not waiting for something else to happen to feel the happiness and joy and to be content with your life. And that doesn't mean that you can't want more or that you shouldn't want more. It just means that right now you can be 100% fully connected with yourself and happy. And you don't need anybody else to do that for you. You do that yourself. You create that within you. Thank you so much for tuning in yet again today. I really, really do hope this has encouraged you to accept yourself, to love yourself, and above all, trust yourself, that everything you need is already inside of you for the future because of your past and because of your present. Until next time, bye.